This week on Makers Lab TV, refurbishing a freezer, the making of a guitar, and paintball fun.
The reason for today's project was to take a decommissioned freezer from Ice for Africa, who are a South African company that sell ice to the grocery stores and garages, so that when they sell ice to their customers, they could either choose a branded or unbranded freezer from Ice for Africa. The reason why we took this decommissioned was just to make sure that we don't waste freezers out there. So we're going to take this decommissioned freezer that is quite battered, we're going to use this one for the branding, and to make it look that it's refurbished and looks like what the customer is going to get if they decide to take this option.
I'm absolutely passionate about guitars. I'm also a musician and a designer, and I just one day decided that I want to build my own guitar according to my own needs, and that's how I set up on this journey.
So here at CPS we specialize in milling, turning, welding of stainless steel, aluminium, and various different materials. We do router work as well. So when we heard of this project for the guitar, we went like, yes, this is a great opportunity for us to prove ourselves, especially on the router work.
So we've been working way too hard around here. It's about time we do some chill time. It's paintball time. We're going to create some really cool goodies for this, make it look really cool. Set some ground rules and then shoot the crap out of each other.
But for now, it's time for Riley to get cracking on the ice freezer project.
As for the design, I took the elements of their logo and all their branding and I moved it according to the fridge and how it was going to be presented when you walked up to it, as if you were going to pull an ice bag out of this freezer. Then for what I used on top of it, or for branding, I used a greyback adhesive to make sure I block out any blemishes that are on the freezer already, because it is quite old and blemished. Then from there we use lamination on top just to make sure that it can stay extra protected and last as long as it can.
Six-string guitar making dates back to the 18th century. Of course, in those days, everything was handmade, and it was no easy task. But in today's world, the CNC machine has made it that much easier to accomplish. Like the convex contour at the back of the guitar's neck that fluctuates in size from the top to the bottom, which can now be achieved in one smooth motion. Which now begs the question, can it still be said that this guitar is handmade?
Why I think this guitar project still falls under handwork is because we basically took everything that they used to do back in the day and we just modernized it with machinery. And there is still handwork on there, and from there we basically just changed the tools. And in this case we use a CNC machine from AM.CO, because this machine gives us the consistent precision that we are looking for.
Meanwhile, on the other side of town, the paintball project gets underway.
For the t-shirts, I'm going to use a 180 gram shirt, nice and thick, just so that we know that when we're running through the bush and playing paintball, that it's not going to get ripped up, being shot and heavily abused. I chose to do something different, and I introduced the wild cards. These wild cards, each player has to pick a card. The card that they choose is their punishment for that round. They have to play the paintball game using that card and whatever the rule is for that card, just to make it a bit more interesting than your normal game of paintball. I chose to make it out of wood MDF from the laser machine, simply because it's going to last a bit longer than doing laminated paper. The reason why we did the stickers was just for the people to hand them out, have them, it's for free, just to get the word out about what we're doing here, creating a different type of paintball, a wild card event.
Things are looking good here. Can't wait to see this in action. But first, let's see how the ice freezer project panned out.
And I think we came up with quite a nice product today. I think from taking this freezer that looked really bad to looking very new and making sure that we represent Ice for Africa's brand identity. And I think Ice for Africa are going to really like this one.
The guitar making process is complete, and it's time to hear from the client.
So the manufacturing part has been done. I'm very happy with the parts. I'm a lot closer to achieving my goal of building a dream guitar, and it's now down to assembling and finishing.
Well, the paintball project has reached its conclusion, and with volunteers, or apparent volunteers, coming out of the woodwork from everywhere, it's time to settle the score.
That was so much fun. We're doing it again.
In 2020, we celebrate 8 years in business, heading toward infinity and beyond. AM.CO.za. Achievement matters.